If you have just started using SharePoint and your first reaction was something like, I don't get it, you're in very good company. Most people open SharePoint expecting it to work like a shared drive. And when it doesn't, it can feel confusing. I mean, honestly, even probably a little frustrating. But here's the thing, SharePoint isn't broken. It's just different. When you understand a few key concepts, it actually becomes one of the most powerful tools you can use for collaboration and organization. I'm Allison Gonzalez. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer at Pragmatic. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through my top 5 tips for new SharePoint users. These are the things I wish everyone knew on day one. The first tip is to stop thinking in folders as your primary way of organizing content. Now, I want to be clear. Folders still exist in SharePoint, and you can absolutely use them. But the mistake a lot of people make is trying to rebuild their old network drive structure exactly as it was. And you end up with folders inside of folders inside of folders. And before you know it, you're clicking 5 levels deep just to find one file. SharePoint gives you a better option, and that is called metadata. Metadata is basically columns that describe your files. So instead of asking, where should this live? You start asking, what is this file about? For example, you might have columns like project name, document type, team, status. Now, instead of putting a file in marketing, campaigns, 2026, drafts, folder path, you can store it in one place and tag it with those values. A good way to think about it is like this. Folders are static, but metadata is dynamic. So as you're getting started, try to keep your folder structure simple and start experimenting with columns, because that is where SharePoint really starts to shine. Tip number 2 is to really understand the difference between OneDrive and SharePoint, because this affects where your files should live. And a lot of new users mix these up and it creates confusion later on. So here's a simple way to think about it. OneDrive is your personal workspace. It is for files that belong to you, things you're working on, drafts, notes, content that is just not ready to be shared yet. SharePoint, hence the name, is for team collaboration. If multiple people need access to a file, it should live in SharePoint. Now, here's where that matters. Let's say you store a team document in your OneDrive and you share it with a few people. That works until you go on vacation, change roles, leave the company. Now, suddenly access becomes an issue because that file is tied to you. In SharePoint, files belong to a team, not an individual. So access is much more stable and reliable over time. Also, if you're using Microsoft Teams, this is happening whether you realize it or not. When you upload a file in a Teams channel, it is actually being stored in SharePoint behind the scenes. So a good habit is this. If it's my work, keep it in OneDrive. If it's our work, move it to SharePoint. That is one mindset shift that will prevent a lot of common problems. Tip number 3 is to stop relying on clicking through folders to find things and start using search and views. This is one of the biggest behavior shifts for new users. In a traditional file system, you're trained to navigate. Click a folder, open the folder, scroll down, repeat, right? In SharePoint, that approach slows you down. So instead, start with the search. If you even know part of the file name or even a keyword inside the document, SharePoint can often find it faster than you can click to it, right? In that search bar up at the top, if you're in a main site, like your homepage in SharePoint, that search bar is going to search everything in SharePoint. But the further you go, the more specific location you're in, that search bar in SharePoint will hone into where you're at. So if you're in a particular library, that search bar is only going to search inside of the library that you are in. So even more powerful than that search are views. Views let you customize how you see your data. For example, you could create a view that only shows documents where the status is in progress. So you just click on that view button and it will show you just that. It will automatically filter everything exactly the way you need it to go. You could do one where that status is in progress. You could do one where things are grouped on the project name, the project owner. If you want to see, let me just show all of my projects. I'm going to sort to just my name. You be able to do that and be nice and neatly organized without needing any folders. You can also sort, filter, and even hide columns to simplify what you're looking at. So instead of it being one very rigid structure, you can have multiple ways to look at the same data depending on what you need in the moment. And that can be a huge shift from navigating to filtering. Tip number 4 is to pay attention to permissions, even if you are not the one that is setting them up, because permissions are what control who can see, edit, or share content. And most of the time, they're already configured for you at the site level. But where I see people run into trouble is when permissions start getting changed at a more detailed level. So for example, someone shares a single file with a specific person, or it does what's called breaks inheritance on a folder, meaning that folder is now set to share with different people than the rest of the site is set up for, either more or less. Now, you have a unique access rule that doesn't match the rest of the site. And this can lead to situations where someone says, I can't see this file, or why do I have access to this, but not to this over here? So as a new user, it helps to be aware of a few things. First, if access isn't working, it's usually a permissions issue, not a bug. Someone said you can't see that for some reason or another. Second, try to avoid oversharing individual files unless there's a clear reason. So if you're constantly sharing, hey, this person's it doesn't have access to the site, but I'm going to share files with them. They need this one. Oh, they probably need this one. Then it's a conversation. That person probably should either A, have access to the rest of the site, or probably maybe doesn't need access to those files. Because if they're needing those files, they probably need other stuff that's on that site, and they should just have access to the site as a whole. Third on this, when possible, try to keep access consistent at the site or library level. So that person, right, instead of sharing individual files with them, if they don't need access to the full site, you can give them that library. So you can kind of at the larger level to keep things consistent. There are times where you might have a library that's just for the managers or just for admin level, and other employees don't need to see that, but it's still on the same site. So those permissions get slightly adjusted to tweak it and make it a little bit more restricted. That should be the exception, not the rule when you are setting up all of your SharePoint sites. So you don't need to manage permissions yourself, but you should understand how they work, which can help you understand why you have access in certain places. My final tip number 5, is to take advantage of version history, because it is one of the most powerful and most underused features in SharePoint. Every time a file is edited, SharePoint can save a new version. And that means you have a built-in timeline of changes. So if someone just overwrites content, deletes something important, or even makes a mistake, no worries. You can just go back and restore an earlier version. So this really completely changes how people work with files coming from a file share system to working in this collaborative SharePoint environment. So instead of saving multiple copies of like a draft, final, you can keep everything in one file and rely on the version history to track those changes. So if you are just getting started with SharePoint, focus on these 5 things. Rethink how you organize your files, understand where your content should live, use search and views to your advantage, stay aware of permissions, and rely on version history instead of creating duplicates. If you can build those habits early, SharePoint will feel a lot more natural and a lot less frustrating. And if you want to go deeper and actually see how all of this works step by step, check out the SharePoint playlist linked below to learn more, or you can use code Allison40 to get 40% off an annual membership on our ODL site that has tons and tons of classes related to not just SharePoint, but also all things Microsoft. You can check those links out below. Before you leave, don't forget to leave a comment of what is your favorite feature or something that you wish you knew in SharePoint when you got started. And I will see you in the next video.